How do you lose weight for the last time? I mean, really losing weight and keeping it off for good. Finding peace with food. That's what we're talking about today in our podcast. I'm interviewing Mary McCoy. She's one of the mentors in the NutriHabit coaching program. And we're so excited to have her here. I've been working with Mary, and it's just so exciting to see the success that she has had in maintenance. She has lost over 100 pounds, 110 pounds, and she has maintained that weight loss for over a year and just has so many amazing insights to share with you today. So I hope that you will enjoy this podcast and you'll get a lot out of it. I think that these interviews are so important. If you're a woman over 40 who's wanting to lose weight for the last time, if you're wanting to find peace with food and be able to transform your body and your mind. It's such a shortcut to success to learn from someone who's been successful at what you're trying to do. And that's really the benefit of this community. Our program is designed to make losing weight faster, easier, and way more fun. Success really comes down to mastering your mindset, developing a winning strategy, and consistent execution of that plan. Our program is designed to help you to customize a meal plan that works for you, something you can actually stick to, and help you overcome all of those mental obstacles that get in the way. In the NutriHabit program, when you achieve your goal and you've completed at least a year in the program, you can continue for free lifetime support in maintenance. And our goal here is not just to help you to lose the weight, but to keep it off for good. Mary is one of our incredible mentors who's in our mentorship program and who just has that outward focus that she is an incredible resource for the newer people who are just starting and such an inspiration to know what's possible. This is episode number 250 of the Healthy Real Food Podcast with Mary McCoy. Hello, Mary. Welcome to the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm so excited that I get to interview you today to share your story with everybody.
Thanks so
This
much,
is
Erin.
the Healthy Real Food
I
Podcast.
know that it's
I'm
so
your
scary
coach,
sometimes,
Erin
like
Hart,
being
a
vulnerable
registered
and
nurse
sharing,
and health coach
sharing
who
our story.
understands the struggle
But
of feeling out of control around food
there's so much
and has
power in
walked the
connection
path
and
of
vulnerability. And
transformation.
I know when I
If you
was
are a
just
woman
starting
who
this
feels
lifestyle,
powerless against your
that hearing
cravings
someone else's
and
story
is
is
ready
really
to
what
live your
inspired
life
me
with
to
more
move
energy,
forward
mental clarity, and
in changing
purpose,
my life. And
there is hope.
and now,
Here we
5
believe
years
that
later,
with God, a
my
mindset
life
of
has
unstoppability,
completely
and consistent
transformed
execution of a
because
winning strategy,
someone was
anything
brave
is
enough
possible
to
for you. So, if
share
you're ready
their
to
story
find freedom
with
from
me.
food
So,
addiction, take control
I
of your
would just
health,
love to
and pursue
hear
your
a little bit
dreams with
about you.
renewed
Tell us a little
energy,
bit about
support,
who
and
you are,
accountability,
Mary,
let's go.
and then where you started, where you are now.
My name is Mary McCoy, and I am a breast cancer survivor. And I lost 110 pounds doing a real food lifestyle. And I've kept it off for just over a year now. When I first went into maintenance, I really struggled and just needed some extra help. And so that's when I started working with Erin, October of 2023. And I just picked a random Saturday and just started. I didn't wait till the next Monday. I didn't wait till the next big holiday, first of the year. I
Right.
got to the point that I just needed to start. I got tired of just feeling terrible. I wasn't feeling good. And after going through what I went through with my cancer treatment, I had a talk with myself that I really needed to stop just surviving. I felt terrible and I just needed to make some changes in my life so that I started feeling better because I'd gone through so much. And why am I just like barely plugging along when I needed to take some better care of myself.
Mhm. I'm sure, like, going through a cancer diagnosis was so jarring, and that I'm sure that that kinda brought life into perspective, just how short and precious this life is, and that you're able to survive that. I love what you're saying, like, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Right. Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful way to look at this, because sometimes we just get so caught up in taking care of everyone else or taking care of one problem after another, but I love the thought of thriving. And so, yeah, after you got through the cancer and before you started a real food lifestyle, what was life like for you then? You talked about, just tired of feeling terrible.
Yeah.
What
I
was it like for you?
I had a lot of chemo side effects, and part of those side effects probably were made worse by just being so heavy.
Mm,
And I had a lot of physical pain, and I really limited myself in what I did because I just didn't feel good. I just felt crappy all the time. And I just needed to kind of put myself first and
mhm,
move forward with making some changes. And I found that once I started eating different, I felt so much better almost right away. And then I was able to start taking better care of myself and eventually, add some exercise and some
mhm.
better food choices along the way and really trying to optimize my health as, time went by. But it all started out with just giving up sugar and flour. Those first little changes made such a big difference in my life.
Oh, yeah, it's such a big step. But when you look at what you're giving up compared to what you're gaining, sometimes I think people can be really resistant to a real food lifestyle and giving up some of those foods that we've loved for a long time, that how you feel, your energy, and you lost 110 pounds. That's just amazing. What is the difference that you notice now compared to being 100 pounds heavier? Like, what are some of the benefits and non-scale victories that have been the most important to you?
Oh, for the longest time, I really struggled even going up and down the stairs of my apartment. And so then I would stay home because I knew that if I went out and like bought groceries, that I wouldn't be able to bring them up the stairs when I got home.
Yeah, like, just being able to walk up the stairs is a big deal. Like, when you're carrying 100 extra pounds with you everywhere you go, that's really challenging, and simple things like walking up the stairs can be hard, and releasing 100 pounds, it just is such a not just a physical weight that's removed from us, it's like an emotional weight as well.
Oh, definitely. I was always a person who every first of the year, I I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna lose 50 pounds this year. And here I've lost twice that and kept it off. And so that is such a big change and still exciting when I remind myself of where I started. And, I went from a size 22 pants down to 6'8" and, a extra large top. And I'm down to small and sometimes extra small. And so just the change physically has been just so different. And on top
Mhm.
of just the emotional change and just the physical well being, I just feel so much better.
Mm.
And it's just been just an amazing change.
Oh, yeah.
But
And I think that, yeah, I definitely want to ask you how you did it, like what your tips are for someone who's just starting this. But before we get into that, like how long had you been struggling with this? What was the cause of your weight gain in the first place?
yeah, I think that a lot of my weight gain was from emotional eating and self-soothing through food. And, in addition to food, I shopped a lot as a soothing mechanism. I had a lot of family trauma, was living in a home that was not healthy for me. And part of being able to lose the weight was getting away from that situation. But I think I started out just gaining weight a little bit at a time, like people do. I was more of a grazer versus like a binge eater. And, it just kind of piled on a little bit at a time. And, you go from feeling okay with your weight. And it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I'm huge. But I think that it was my way of dealing, and
Mm.
instead of addressing my problems or emotions, I, ate to soothe and ate to feel better and ate to be happy and ate when I'm sad, and like the rock rolling down the hill where you kind of keep going. And that's how I ended
Yeah.
up being, up to 243 pounds.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah, that slippery slope. And I relate to that too. I had gained over 100 pounds in the course of 10 years, and it was really not about the food. It was emotional. It was definitely a coping mechanism, trying to cope with all those stresses and emotions of life. And food can be such a safe place for us that we feel like it's a safe place for us. But then when we use food in that way, it really just compounds the problem. It doesn't actually solve any of our real problems, and it becomes its own problem when
right.
we use food like that. So just that you were able to remove yourself from that situation is so brave. And moving forward, learning how to cope with all the stresses and emotions of life head on. And that can feel really hard and overwhelming, but it's possible, and there's so much joy on the other side of that. So, what are some of the things that helped you to overcome emotional eating? Well, how do you deal with all your big emotions now compared to then?
A lot of journaling and writing things out, longhand, and reflecting. Doing some therapy helped as well. And, just kind of taking a step back and realizing what you're doing versus reaching for the food as your first coping mechanism. It's like, take a
Mhm.
break. I would set timers for everything, you know, pause before
Mm.
eating. And, am I do the reflections of, am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I angry? Am I sad? Kind of
Mm.
working through things rather than just reaching for the food.
Right. And that's amazing, Mary, because I think that overcoming emotional eating can feel so impossible for many of us, but really there are tools and skills we can use to cope with all the stresses and emotions of life. Like journaling is such an important part of learning to process our emotions. It's just becoming aware of what we're feeling,
Right.
and having an outlet, not holding it all inside. Journaling is so therapeutic, and being able to talk to someone like a therapist. That for me also, I found that that was such an important part of the transformation. is like being able to process things that have happened in the past and or reframing them and being able to look forward. You talked earlier about gaining weight because just not putting yourself first. And what has that looked like for you to be able to really prioritize your needs and ahead of other people's needs?
I live with my older son
Mhm.
and do most of the cooking. And so there is not my food in the house, but as time has gone by, I don't want it. I buy what I need to buy rather than what my son likes to eat. I also usually eat first before I either serve him or cook for him.
Mhm.
Um, I first heard about the no sugar, no flour lifestyle back in 2017, but I was one of those people that there's no way I can do this. No way. And then as I heard more about it, you know, years later, and it's like, well, all the research that's showing that sugar causes so much inflammation in your body, it's like I have to give
Mhm.
this a try and go forward. But using the word try is something that I've also given up because I'm not trying to do this lifestyle. I am doing this lifestyle. I am eating this way. And so I've also had to reframe the words that I speak to myself and really try to be my biggest cheerleader and tell myself I can do this. I am doing this. I will do this.
Mhm.
And I think that has helped with my success is how I speak to myself. And I went online and found little mantras and little snapshots of sayings that just to kind of give myself a pep talk. And I think that has really helped.
Mhm. Yeah, language is so powerful. Our thoughts and our words really do matter. That little shift from saying, I'm going to try to do this to I will do it, that you can feel
Mhm.
that in your body. Like you can feel the difference and how that affects the way that you show up. And yeah, so important to control our thoughts, and mantras are such a great way to do that. Just practicing empowering thinking, practicing thoughts and phrases and that may not come naturally to us, but
Right.
with time as we talk that way and practice thinking that way, it becomes our new default thinking. And so instead of turning to the food, we we shift our focus and can use thoughts and mantras and I love how you talked earlier as well about recognizing what triggers you and then practicing the pause. Am I hungry? Am I bored? What is my emotion? And so I thought that that was such a great insight too. That's so important to focus on.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is not a little thing that you lost over 100 pounds and that you've maintained it for a whole year. We talk about the success path to sustainable weight loss. There's lots of ways to lose weight, but most people struggle with the part of maintaining it and keeping it off. And you have just done this so beautifully for a whole year. You've just maintained your weight loss and this new identity that you've created. What are some of the things that you've learned in maintenance that would be important for someone who's just starting this lifestyle? I mean, because sometimes starting this lifestyle, that's where our focus needs to be. It's not really on losing the weight, but how am I going to maintain this and create this as a lifestyle, not just a diet?
You definitely have to shift from a diet mentality to this is how I'm going to eat for the rest of my life. You
Hmm.
know, because otherwise you're forever thinking about whether a food is good or bad, or you're good or bad from what you're eating. And so you really have to make a shift to this is who I am now. I don't eat that way anymore. I've had that food in the past and I know what it tastes like. I don't need to have it.
Mhm.
Even sometimes if you're saying, I don't need to have that today, I can have that someday again, but, you know, today is not the day.
Yeah.
And I have definitely had to embrace an abstinence mentality. I can't even have a bite. I have to follow the, 100%
Mhm.
for me. And, that has helped me. It's like I know that I can't even taste it because it could send me down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go. I want to stay
Mhm.
healthy. I want to stay feeling good. And so, my choice is to an abstinence
Mhm.
based way to go.
Well, yeah, and I also find that complete abstinence is easier than moderation. I don't think that one is better than the other. Of course,
Right.
like some people really can be successful with moderation, but yeah, sometimes 100% is easier than 98%. Like 100% a breeze, where 98% feels like a beast, just because of the constant negotiation with yourself. When you're intermittently making exceptions, it can, it really can increase all that food chatter, that brain chatter, and make it feel so much harder and be
Right.
much more depleting with your willpower. So, but what was your why? Like, I'm curious, like, what, because to be able to decide and to commit to something like that, you talked about just tired of feeling sick and tired of feeling terrible. What was your deep why that helped you in those moments when it was hard and you wanted to quit or give up? What helped you to keep going?
My why was my health, and that I felt like I went through such a struggle, such a hard thing with my cancer treatment. And I had a year of active treatment and I had 5 surgeries. And so my why is I beat that. And so now I want to take control of my health. I want to feel better. And in order to feel better, I need to lose this weight. I need to take control of how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. And so that's what I kept reminding myself is that I'm doing this for my health and I don't want to just survive anymore. I just want to thrive going forward. I just turned 60 and I'm like, okay, I want to feel good for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, because the time is going to pass no matter what we do. And especially as we are, thinking about our years ahead and what we want that to look like. I love how you talked a lot. It sounds like a lot of your why you talked about control a lot. Like just it is something you have control over. You can change your health trajectory. You and by changing your health trajectory, you not only can you potentially add a decade to your life, but increase the quality of your life as you're aging and having more life in those years. Like you talked about, it's time to thrive. This is such an exciting time. That's a big milestone, turning 60.
Yeah,
So fun, and you're healthier now than you have ever been, right? And
yeah,
just
I have.
getting older doesn't mean we have to decline in our health. Like, we really can get younger as we're getting older when we're making those changes with our health and making those choices to improve our health. So I know with your meal plan, you've been really committed to that and consistent with that. And what has it looked like with exercise? Tell us a little bit about how that played a role in your transformation.
Well, when I first started, I could barely go up and down my stairs. And now one of the things that I do daily for exercise is I go up and down my stairs 5 times in a row to bring up my heart rate. And every day I either walk or I ride my exercise bike. And, I commit to riding at least a half an hour, if not more. And I walk about an hour every day. And I recently added a weighted vest, and that has really
Mhm.
made it harder, And I think you do need to make your exercise a little bit harder as time goes by because you want to challenge yourself, challenge your body. But when I first started, I couldn't do that. I couldn't
Yeah.
walk around the block. I couldn't walk a couple miles, without dying.
Right.
And
And just so
Right.
consistently now you're just walking an hour and going up and down the stairs 5 times to just get started, just for fun.
Yeah,
And now you
just
need the weighted vest because it's not challenging enough for you. Like, I mean, that's all exercise is. It's just doing a little more than you were doing before. We don't have to
right.
jump straight to that, but like just starting
Oh,
where you are and
yeah.
small intermittent. You get stronger as you go, and that's the goal, not just being skinny, but getting stronger and
Yes.
so important.
Yeah, I didn't start out doing what I'm doing. I would go to the end of the block and then come back. And so it would be like 10 minutes and then added another 5 minutes and kept going. And then, now I do 2 loops in my neighborhood and it
Mhm.
ends up being about an hour every day.
And I think that that just shows the power of consistency as well. That it's not like all or nothing but just like small changes can create a huge impact when we execute them consistently. That that over time, that small change of just starting where you were, just like maybe walking to the end of the block and back, that and doing that consistently, then we can add on it and look how far you've come. So it's amazing how quickly we can change our health trajectory. I mean, just a couple of years ago, right? You were 243 pounds is where you said you started. And now look
Uh-huh.
at where you are, like completely transformed your health, your mindset, and your life. It's so inspiring. What would you tell to someone who's just starting this lifestyle or who's in the process of transformation and struggling? What do you feel like you'd want them to know?
I would say just start with giving up flour and sugar and then add the steps of weighing and measuring and make sure that you're writing down your food. And I think it's really important to have a accountability buddy and someone that you can commit to because you're not only making a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this, but you're committing to someone else. And I don't know, sometimes I think the people pleaser in me doesn't want to let down my buddy, that, I want to follow through with what I said I was going to eat and what I said I was going to do. So I think having someone like an accountability buddy is really, really helpful in the process.
Yeah, it is so powerful. There's a study
Mhm.
that shows that with accountability, you're 65% more likely to achieve your goal. But when you check in with that person every day, your likelihood of success goes up to 95%. Accountability is so powerful in a transformation journey, whatever the big goal is, but like, especially with your health, having someone who's empathetic and non-judgmental that you can touch base with every day and stay accountable to it does make such a huge difference because nothing changes if nothing changes. And if we don't take action, if we don't execute our plan, nothing will change for us. Having an accountability buddy really does help us to not just know what to do, but do what we know. And with time, amazing changes can happen like you've seen.
Yeah,
So
I feel that that made such a big difference in my program, that
mhm,
once I committed to writing down my food and committing it to my buddy, that really just helped more than I realized it would, you know? Other things that I would do would be to take maintenance breaks and learn how to add food, because when I hit maintenance, I really struggled with adding food back.
mhm,
And it really kind of messed with my head that my weight would go up and down a little bit. So I would suggest maintenance breaks. And one thing I didn't do that I would suggest people do is take the before forward photos and measurements.
mhm,
I avoided the camera like the plague. And I think
mhm,
because I had been on so many diets, that I had always taken tons of before pictures. This time I didn't. And I don't have very many photos of before, and I don't have any measurements. And that's one thing I wish that I would have done, is
mhm.
before pictures and everything. That's not something I can go back and do, but that's something I would suggest that people do, even if you have someone else take them for you and hide them in a camera folder, because someday you're gonna want those. I have a completely different body than I did when I was heavier, and sometimes I
Mhm.
like that reminder of, like, "Wow, look at where I am now."
Yeah.
And, I only have a couple photos because I was always the person that hid from the photos when people were taking photos, or even when I took my own selfies, I was so critical that unless I looked amazing, I would delete.
Mhm.
And so that's something now that I like to take photos. And, you know, I
And that
don't
you
think
wish you had.
I wish I had more photos of the past so that I could see how far I've come.
Yeah. It's so neat hearing you say that because I know sometimes when people are starting, it's hard to believe in yourself. It's like, "Oh, is this gonna be another thing I fail at?" Right? And so they don't wanna take photos or measurements or something, but it is so important to have that, to be able to measure your progress backward, not just so we're not only focusing on how far we have to go, but, like, look how far we've come, and that can
Right.
be so motivating, especially when you achieve your goal. You're definitely gonna wanna have photos and videos and measurements to be able to really see your transformation. I also love what you talk about with taking the maintenance breaks and just how incredibly important that is because, well, there's a few reasons maintenance breaks are important in the weight loss phase, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. Number one is that it really helps to protect your metabolism during weight loss. So, if we have too long of a period of weight loss without adding food, and we require this much for maintenance and we're eating down here, our metabolism starts to decrease to match what we're eating. It's just a survival mechanism in our
Right.
bodies. And so to prevent plateaus and to help us to maintain a strong metabolism that will help with maintenance and help us to maintain the weight loss, maintenance breaks are really important. Another reason they're important is sometimes we just need a mental break. The thought of losing 100 pounds all at once can feel like, oh, our brain is going to resist that so much. But if we're like, okay, I can do this for 6 weeks, I can do this for 12 weeks, and I'm
Right.
really commit to it, it helps us to be a little bit more consistent during the harder time of being in the caloric reduction, that knowing that there is an end in sight. It's just a little hard to run a race when you can't see the finish line. So maintenance breaks are a great way to do that, to take that staged approach, losing, maintaining. And then the other reason that maintenance breaks are just so important is that you're practicing the skill of maintenance. You've probably lost weight a lot of different times in your life, right? But maintaining it was the hard part. Like most people gain the weight back. So to maintain your weight loss, once you lose your excess weight, you just can't stay in the weight loss phase forever. You have to add food back. But then comes all of those fears that you described, right? Like the fear of gaining weight or just not knowing how to navigate seeing the scale go up and down. And so doing those maintenance breaks is so important if you're wanting to lose weight for the last time, is to practice the art and the skill of maintenance. During the weight loss phase, it really helps to face those fears head on and
Right.
realize like, okay, I added food and I didn't die and I maintained my weight and it worked. Like,
Right.
it's just like that's how we can really overcome those fears is just head on. So I agree. It's just so important. And you've just really rocked maintenance. You have done so well in maintenance. And I think that we're just so grateful to have you as a mentor in our community. It's neat to have our mentors who understand the struggle and can be that empathetic voice, but also like come with that experience to know like to help you take the shortcut to success. That's one of the reasons I love doing these interviews is just because like we can learn from trial and error on our own, or we can learn from someone who's been successful at what we're trying to do. And that really is the shortcut to success. So,
Yeah, it helps to kind of hear what other people have done and maybe skip all the mistakes that they made and,
right.
just, go forward with your own program and your own
Mhm.
lifestyle, but learn from others and see what they did to reach their success. But I really appreciate the community and just all the love from everyone in your program.
Oh, well, we love you, Mary, and you're such an inspiration to us. That's why I created this program was that we can have that connection with each other. Connection is so important in lifestyle transformation, and we learn so much from each other. I love on our group coaching calls how we have people that are just starting, people who have been in maintenance for years, but we all learn from each other no matter where you are on the success path, on your path to your goal, whether you're just starting or down the road, we really benefit from learning and listening to the experiences of others. And also, like, we benefit the most by sharing what we've learned. helps it
Yeah.
solidify it for us as well.
We all have the basic program, but we all have a little tweak that we do,
Mhm.
with how we achieve our goal and how we stay in maintenance. So it's so interesting to hear other people's stories.
Yeah, definitely. Just so important for everyone to own their plan, to find what works for them, find what works for you. And it's so exciting, Mary, like this new stage of your life. It's time to thrive. You have come so far, and not just in physical transformation. I know you've done so much inner work, and just we're so proud of you and excited for you. So
Well,
thank
thanks so much.
thank you so much for coming today and sharing your tips. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or anything you'd want to leave our audience with today?
I think the main thing is to treat yourself well, treat yourself with kindness, and reach out to community, reach out for help. Don't isolate, and not only ask for help, but reach out and help others as they go through their journey too.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for your time today. We love you. We want to thank you for all of your efforts and what you do and sharing your story with us today, but also as you're mentoring people in our community and offering that support and wisdom that you've learned from your experience is just
Oh, thank
great.
you, Erin. I'm
So,
so appreciative of your program. Just you have helped me so much. So I appreciate you.
oh, yeah, well, it's so fun to see where you are right now. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We hope that you'll join us in our program. We've designed our coaching program here to help women over 40 who are struggling, who are feeling like Mary felt in the beginning, like I felt in the beginning. Like if you feel hopeless, if you feel powerless to your cravings, if you're trying to lose weight and struggling, you're not alone. And there is a path to peace for you. And we would love to help you to customize a meal plan and give you accountability and help you overcome every obstacle on your path to your goal body and peace with food. So if you're interested in learning more about our program, be sure to go to healthyrealfood.com and you can sign up for a free 1 hour strategy session with me where we can talk about your goals and help you to find your next step toward freedom. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, click the link to my schedule for a free one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.